What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. The Cast of Sports Kingdom. We're here. We're going to break down NFL Week 12. First of all, happy Thanksgiving. We now have got two games on Thanksgiving. The third game, the Ravens-Steelers game, has been pushed to Sunday. We'll talk about that in a minute. Dan, how's it going? Happy Thanksgiving. What do we got for the week?
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you. Should be a good one. I'm working on Thanksgiving for the most part, but it still should be able to come home, watch some of the game, the Cowboys game. So it
Don't even worry
should be
about it,
nice.
Dan. All the good action. It's going to happen on Sunday, but don't worry. We're going to talk about these Thursday games first. First one that happens, it's going to be at 12:30. The Texans, they go up north. They're going to play Detroit in Detroit, obviously. Thanksgiving tradition. Lions always play on Thanksgiving. Let's talk about this game really quickly. Dan, what do we got here?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. The Lions did not look good at all last week. 20-0. They lost to the Panthers, and the Texans are coming off a big win against Patriots, and they've looked, pretty okay since Bill O'Brien has left, and having Deshaun Watson is just, he's Deshaun Watson. He can do great things. He's a really good quarterback, and both these teams don't have particularly great defenses, but I feel like the Texans and Deshaun Watson will have a bit more of a lethal offense. So I think I'm gonna go with the Texans in this one.
I want to lean toward the Texans as well. I feel like that was a good game they played against the Patriots. They got a lot of momentum from it. And the Lions, they could be without DeAndre Swift again. He's still in concussion protocol. As of Wednesday, he didn't practice, but he could be a game time decision on Thursday. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. I don't know if he'll make much of a difference for the Lions, honestly. So I think the Texans, they win this game. It'd be a close one, though. The line is Houston -3. Uh, I would probably say they win by 3, honestly, maybe 4. So it's kind of a coin toss. So I'm going to take that. What about you, Dan?
Yeah, I'm thinking 3 or 4 because Lions on Thanksgiving
Yeah,
in Detroit, it'll still be kind
they're
of
going to make it a
close.
fun one. The over under is 51.5. I think I'll go over, honestly. I feel like they could push it. They might barely hit it.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Very nice. The second game starts at 4:30. You can catch it on Fox. The winner of this game goes in the first place to the NFC East up until at least Monday, depending on how the Eagles play. But again, we'll talk about that in a minute. The Washington football team, they travel to Arlington. They're going to play Dallas. We all know Dallas. They play every Thanksgiving. So 2, 3, and 7 teams, they're going to go at it for first place to the NFC East. Dan, what do you got here?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. It'll be a definitely a hard fought game, division game on Thanksgiving, and these two teams, I mean, they both won last week, I think, and yeah, Dallas came with a big win against Minnesota. Minnesota was kind of rolling, and they had a lot of momentum. And Dallas just they ran the ball really well, which they haven't done in a while. Both Zeke and Tony Pollard, which really helped their game plan. But to me, I just think that I think Washington. I mean, if it was a fully healthy Cowboys or fully healthy Eagles, it might be a different thing. But at this point in time, I think Washington is the best team in the division. I just their running attack's pretty nice with Gibson and Kissick. Terry McLaurin plays well under any quarterback, and their defense, I would say, is definitely the best in the division by far. So this one will definitely be a close one. I could see it going either way, but I think I'm gonna go with Washington on Thursday.
I'd have to agree with everything you just said there. Dallas played a really good game against Minnesota, a red hot Minnesota team last week, and Washington. They've been looking very well. Their record doesn't show, but they've been looking fairly well. And you said that they got a really good run game. Antonio Gibson and J.D. McKissick, a very nice 1-2 punch. McKissick always seems to power it in when they're down in the red zone, and they get always, McKissick's pretty much a wide receiver for them. He gets out of the backfield all the time, and McLaurin's a great wide receiver too. You can't deny that. So I think with that being said, I mean, you got to look at Dallas too. Dallas, great team. Of course, they're without Dak, but we know they've got CD Lamb, they've got Amari Cooper, they got Zeke. They still got a pretty decent O line. We know their defense has been a little rough this year, but I think Washington's going to take this game. It's going to be fairly close, obviously, divisional game, Thanksgiving. Again, it's going to be a fun one. The records don't show it. People are going to say this game is going to be boring. I mean, it's Thanksgiving football. We can't really complain about it. So I think Washington wins this game. The line is Dallas -3. I'm obviously not going to take that. And I guess you said it could go either way, Dan. So either way for the line, or what do you got?
No, I think Washington +3.
Washington plus 3, and the over
Yeah.
under is 46. I think they hit that. I think not the greatest of defenses, so we could see a good amount of points scored.
Phew. Yeah, I'll probably take it too. They're hoping for it.
Yep, very good. All right, so let's make some very quick predictions on some games Sunday, and then we'll dive into some other games as well. We'll start the Raiders. They travel to Atlanta. They're going to play the Falcons. Quick pick, Dan. Who do you got?
I'm gonna take the Raiders. They looked really good against the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. Unfortunate to get that loss. And Atlanta looked um pretty toothless against Taysom Hill Saints team without Marshawn Lattimore as well. So I'm gonna go with the Raiders.
I'm going to take the Raiders as well. I think they should win that game fairly easily, in my opinion. Next game, we'll look at the Chargers. They travel to Orchard Park. They're going to play the Bills. Who do you got here, Dan?
I think the Bills get this one. I don't see a way. Chargers, they can play good games. They could put up points, but they beat the Jets by 6 last week. So I'm not too confident in that.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bills also. The next game, the New York Giants, they travel to Cincinnati. They're going to play the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals, their first game without Joe Burrow. Who do you got here, Dan?
I'm gonna go to the Giants. You said it there. Without Joe Burrow, this team has a shot at winning because it's not like their defense will win in the game. And the Giants, even though they are 3-7 as well, they played a bit better than a 3-7 team, I would say. Wayne Gallman's been running the ball okay too. So, the absence of Saquon a little bit lessened by his performances as of recent. And their defense is actually pretty like middle of the pack, I would say. So I'm gonna go with the
Yeah, the Bengals, they looked really lost without Burrow last week with Ryan Finley in. So I think the Giants here to win this game. I don't know how good that Bengals offense is going to be without Burrow. Obviously, there were so many good players. We looked at Higgins. We looked at Boyd. They were having great seasons. I don't think they're going to see that same success with Ryan Finley. So the Giants, they win this game. Next game, the Panthers, they're going to
still no
travel.
Mixon as well.
No Mixon, he is on IR. And Giovanni Bernard is questionable as well. Next game, the Carolina Panthers, they travel to Minnesota. They're going to play the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings, they could still be in the hunt for the playoffs, but we'll have to wait and see how the wild card plays out. Dan, what do you got here?
Yes, is interesting. I think I'm gonna go. The Panthers did look really good last week, but I'm gonna go with the bounce back performance from the Vikings. I just think they need to establish the run game like usual and just kind of stop the run game like they didn't do this week. And even though the Panthers are without McCaffrey again, so Mike Davis will definitely put up some good numbers, but I don't know if like they could pound it like Zeke or Tony Pollard can like last week.
I'm going to disagree with you here. I think the Panthers, they pulled this one out. I like the way their defense plays, honestly. I think they probably won't keep Dalvin Cook in check. He'll probably still have a good game, but they might force Kirk Cousins to turn the ball over a couple times, whether they pressure him in the backfield or throw a couple interceptions. And they'll get Teddy Bridgewater back at quarterback this week, so that'll help them a little bit. They are still without Christian McCaffrey, but I think the Panthers, they do just barely enough to win this game. We'll move on. Next game, sticking to the 1 o'clock team, the Arizona Cardinals. They're looking for a bounce back. They're going to travel to Foxborough and play the Patriots. Dan, quick thoughts here.
Yeah, this is an interesting one too. I could see a game similar to how the Patriots beat the Ravens because it's like you know, Bill Belichick doing his best to coach around a mobile quarterback. However, I think that Arizona's offense is more talented than Baltimore's at this point. And even though Baltimore definitely has a better defense, I have a feeling that Arizona is probably gonna it'll be close in the beginning, but I think they're gonna run away with this game.
Yeah, I think Arizona wins this game fairly easily. They should be able to bounce back pretty nicely, and this is probably a game they need. They don't want to fall to 6-5, so I think they win this game. Next game, the Miami Dolphins. They
Especially with the
travel.
Rams win.
Yep. The next game, the Dolphins, they're going to travel to
Yep,
East
sorry.
Rutherford, New Jersey. They're going to play the Jets. Jets still looking for their first win, obviously. Dolphins, Tua is still questionable, so we'll have to wait and see if he plays. But I think we both know who's probably going to end up winning this one in the end. But just to be sure.
Yeah. It should be the Dolphins. They played very poor last against Denver. But even if Tua does not play, I think that they should be well equipped to beat the Jets with Ryan Fitzpatrick in, especially considering how he was playing at the beginning of the season. So the Dolphins should easily win this one.
I agree. The Dolphins, they should win this game fairly easily. The next game, the Cleveland Browns, 7-3, red hot. They're going to travel to Jacksonville. They play the 1-9 Jaguars. Again, probably a very easy pick here, but just to be sure, Dan.
Yeah, I think Cleveland continues their winning ways. They got a big win against Philadelphia last week, and I don't see a way that the Jags will be able to contain Chubb and Hunt.
Perfectly said. Browns, I think they win this game fairly easily. Next game, the New Orleans Saints, they travel to the Mile High on Denver. They're going to play the Broncos. It looks like Taysom Hill is going to remain the starting quarterback for them. So quick thoughts on this one, Dan.
I think the Saints will come out with this one. Taysom Hill looked pretty good last week, pretty efficient. He didn't throw a touchdown pass, but he ran it in for two. Michael Thomas has had his best game of the year, and I know Denver played a pretty good game last week, but you got to remember the Saints also have defense. They're one of the most complete teams in the league, I would say, and I don't see how this Denver team can pull a win out against the Saints.
Yep, I'd have to agree. The Saints, they should be able to win this game. I think Taysom Hill, hopefully a little bit of a better performance. I think that's what the Saints want to see out of him. Maybe a couple passing touchdowns this time around, but I think they're okay with the rushing touchdowns as well. But I think the Saints, they win this game, should be fairly easily. Next game, we'll move on. 49ers, they're going to travel to Inglewood. They're going to play the Los Angeles Rams. I think this one is obviously probably another easy pick, but Dan, to go ahead.
Yeah, I think it should be the Rams, even though the last time these two teams played, I believe the 49ers won earlier in the season. But yeah, the Rams put on a fantastic performance against Tom Brady and the Bucks on Monday Night Football. Their defense is top tier, really, at this point, and their offense needs to do just enough, just with running the ball sometimes. And Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp both played a really good game last week. So, and we've said it a lot if you've watched our other videos and podcasts. The Niners are just beat up, so it's really unfortunate. But at this, they just can't really do much with what they have.
Yeah, I have to agree. Rams put on a very nice showing against the Buccaneers on Monday Night Football. So I think they win this game pretty easily and moved 8-3 in a very competitive West Division. So they're going to look to keep getting those wins. We'll move on. Let's look at some other games now. Rematch of Thursday Night Football from a couple of weeks ago. The Tennessee Titans, they're going to travel to Indianapolis this time around. Two 7-3 teams are going to battle it out for the top spot in the AFC South. The Tennessee Titans play the Indianapolis Colts. Dan, what do you got on this game?
Yeah, this is a big one. Both these teams got big wins last week against tough opponents and the Ravens and the Packers. And I mean, this game could very well decide the division. The last time, even though the score was 34-17, I believe, but the tide really changed with a block punt. But this time around, I think that Tennessee is going to get the win. I think it's going to take something like that to shift the momentum in the game. And I think, Tennessee will learn from their mistakes, and I think they're going to get out with this win.
I'd have to agree with you. I think Tennessee wins this game. Listen, Indianapolis has got a great defense. We're no strangers to that. Everyone's seen how great they've been playing all season. But I like Tennessee's offense just a little bit more. I know last time the Colts did seem to shut them down a little bit, but you mentioned it. That block punt really changed the momentum in that game. So I think the Titans, they get the ball moving. Derrick Henry probably going to have a big game. I'm going to say maybe a touchdown or two for him. A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, maybe they get them involved a little bit more. So I think the Titans, they win this game and they take first place. I don't know if this will necessarily decide the division because I feel like one of these teams might slip up along the way. But again, this is also pretty big for wild card contention as well because whoever loses this game probably is going to have to fight for the wild card spot now. But I think the Titans, they win this game. It's going to be a close one, definitely going to be a fun one to watch. But the Titans win this game. They take the top spot in the South. Next game we'll move on to, we mentioned it earlier. It was supposed to be part of the Thursday games. It was a Thursday night game that was going to happen on Thanksgiving. It is now officially, or not officially, I should say, as of Wednesday, the night we're recording this, it's been moved to Sunday at 1:15 on NBC. The Baltimore Ravens, they travel to Pittsburgh. They're going to play the Steelers. The Ravens have looked pretty sloppy as of recently. It looks like they've kind of dropped out of the NFC or the AFC North competition, but you never know the way the NFL is. So, Dan, what do you got on this one?
Yeah, this is another big game, I think, for both teams really, because the Ravens need to make a statement win. They need to get in that AFC wild card race again because I think the division is out of their reach at this point. But they're behind the Browns right now, and there are all those other teams that they need to compete with. And the Steelers, I mean, they could definitely win. Obviously, they're trying to stay perfect, and there's also this like narrative that they're 10-0 because of their schedule. So a statement win against a good team, last year's MVP could also be something that they have, kind of in the back of their minds. And I think that the Steelers are going to take this one. They were able to come back the last time these two teams played in Baltimore, and I think this one being in Pittsburgh could help out a lot. I mean, I'm not sure if they're fans, but just being in your home stadium is always helpful. And like you said, the Ravens have looked sloppy. I think they were ahead against Tennessee by like at least a touchdown, maybe a little bit more, and then they ended up losing in overtime. So I think that the Steelers are continuing to roll and improve to 11-0.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I think the Steelers, they've been looking pretty well after they had a weird performance against Dallas, and they've had two pretty nice games back to back against the Bengals and against the Jaguars. So they're starting to look like an actual 10-0 team now. So I think they continue their winning ways against Baltimore. It's going to be a little bit more easier for them this time around than it was in their first game. I think they win this game a little bit more comfortably. Like you said, being at home with or without fans, it still helps a little bit. So I think the Steelers, they win this game. Right now, again, it is supposed to be played Sunday, week 12, but a lot of COVID implications in Baltimore facility. So it could be moved around. Both these teams have already had their bye, so we don't know. It could be pushed to way late. We're talking like maybe early January, possibly. So we'll have to wait and see. But if the game does take place, we both pick the Steelers to improve to 11-0. We'll move on. Next game, the Kansas City Chiefs, after a big win on Sunday night against the Oakland Raiders, they're going to go and play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. Tampa just had a rough performance against the Los Angeles Rams on Monday Night Football. So, Dan, what do you got on this one?
Yeah, this could be an interesting matchup. Obviously, the headline's going to be Brady versus Mahomes. The one of the greatest, and then the guy who might, by the end of his career, be in that conversation as well. But in this one, there's been a lot of like talk after the game on Monday about the chemistry between Arians and Brady. And so that is something to consider. Also, I don't understand how the Buccaneers can look at their games where they play well and like, okay, they run the ball really well in the games that they win. So the fact that like Ronald Jones only carried the ball 10 times on Monday is kind of concerning to me. I think that they should when they run the ball, it helps set up their play action, which is something Tom Brady is known for. So, and another problem that the Buccaneers are having is that they cannot come they don't have any big plays like passing attempts like 15, 20 yards plus. They rank towards the end of the league, which probably, I mean, obviously Brady's old, he can't throw the ball too well, but 15, 20 yards with receivers like Evans and Godwin, it's really not good enough. And the Chiefs, I mean, they can just score points like it's nobody's business, man. Kelsey is third in receiving yards right now in the entire league, and he's a tight end. Him and Hill are just playing fantastic. The Edwards-Helaire and Bell can pitch in where they need to, and I don't see a way unless the Buccaneers change their game plan that they can win this game.
Yeah, listen, I'll keep it short and simple for you. The Chiefs win this game, honestly, in my opinion, and I think they win it pretty easily. I think their offense is going to be way too much for the Buccaneers defense, and then the Chiefs defense, it's been playing fairly well so far this year. It looked like a rough game against the Raiders, but I think they bounced back. And they rough up Brady just a little bit. They win this game. They're going to improve to 10-1, in my opinion. Chiefs win this one by a fairly decent margin, I would say, maybe by 10 points or maybe more. Next game, we'll move on to the Sunday night football game. One of the oldest rivalries in the NFL, the Chicago Bears, they travel to Lambeau Field. They're going to play the Green Bay Packers. It looks like a must-win for the Bears. Obviously, they started out, it looks like they were going to be one of the top teams in the NFC this year, and they've been just on a downhill spiral since then. So they really need this one. Dan, what do you got on this one?
Yeah, you said if the Bears want like any chance of staying in that playoff contention, they need to win this game, or else they can slip behind the Vikings if they beat the Panthers. And for the Packers, coming off a tough loss this week, they want to bounce back. Obviously, like you said, they always want to beat the Bears. It's the oldest rivalry in football, and I think that they'll end up getting it done. I just don't see where the offense of the Bears is going to come from. And, I'm going to, on Sunday Night Football, I'm going to bet on Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I don't see any chance the Bears win this game. There's a really, really, really good chance they're going to be without both Trubisky and Foles for this game. So they'll be looking at a third-string quarterback starting the game for them. And a third-string
They're
quarterback.
trying out Deshaun Kaiser, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know. That's not going to play well for them. A third-string quarterback against Aaron Rodgers on Sunday Night Football. Take Aaron Rodgers 100 times out of 100. Packers win this game huge, in my opinion. Maybe by like 20 plus, honestly. We'll move on. The last game to wrap up NFL Week 12, the Seattle Seahawks, they travel to Philadelphia. They're going to play the Eagles, who currently sit in first place, but as of Thursday evening, it will change. So, Dan, what do you got on this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's at least sad for me because I don't think, as long as I've been alive and Russell Wilson's been the quarterback of the Seahawks, the Eagles just have not beat the Seahawks. The Seahawks have their number always. And after the performance, given it was shady weather in Cleveland, but that performance week was just abysmal. There's a lot of talk in the organization. Jeffrey Lurie doesn't like the play calling and the offense, and I don't think anybody really does right now. And unless we see like the Carson Wentz of last year, or the year the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and Russell Wilson has one of those bad games that he's had a few this year. He definitely has, but the Eagles don't produce turnovers, so I'm not really sure where it's going to come from. And I don't know, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett against the Eagles secondary, besides Darius Slay. I don't really like that. So I think the Seahawks win. I think they win big. And I think Washington and the Giants will be tied atop the NFC East.
Yeah, just like the Chiefs Buccaneers game, I'll keep this one simple for you. I'm pretty sure the last time the Eagles beat the Seahawks, the year was 2008 or 2009. So Matt Hasselbeck was the quarter of the Seahawks. And the last time the Eagles beat the Seahawks at home, I believe, was in the 90s. So I couldn't even tell you who the quarterback for the Seahawks was back then. So I don't think that changes anytime soon. I think the Seahawks, they probably steamroll the Eagles on Monday night, send them to 3-7-1, and probably send the franchise into a very weird spiral that's going to lead into the offseason. Because I don't imagine this Eagles team will be winning the division with their remaining schedule and the way the rest of the division looks right now. So I'll just leave it at that. But trust me when I say we can make an hour-long video on what the Eagles need to do as a franchise. So that's going to wrap up NFL Week 12. As we said, we got two, fairly decent games happening on Thursday. Obviously, they're not going to light anyone's Christmas trees just yet. But the Texans, they play the Lions, and the Washington football team, they'll play the Dallas Cowboys. Those are the two you'll see on Thursday. And then, of course, you got all your Sunday games highlighted by, you got Chiefs, Buccaneers, Titans, Colts, Ravens, Steelers as of right now. Bears, Packers on Sunday night. And then, of course, Monday night features the Seahawks and the Eagles. So that's NFL Week 12. We got a lot more big playoff implication games happening this week. So make sure you're staying up to date with that. And you can always hear the news right here. So follow us on all forms of social media. You can find them in the link down below in the description. You can find our social medias, mine and Dan. We can find them down below as well. And until next time, Dan, any last words?
just
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. So enjoy, stay safe. Don't be catching COVID. Don't be spreading it. So until then, we'll catch you next time. I've been Dom, joined by Dan. Adios.